Either they're bike riders or adventure bike riders or bike traveling. This is going to be a simple video. I'm going to install on that, the Road Glide, the new one. I have the Hotwire heated suit and I need to plug it in. The best way to do it is not try to use an accessory system on the bike. The fuse can't handle it. And also, I don't think this bike has an accessory under the seat. So they do give you a wiring harness, and this is it. And it has a 1/8 inch inch. I don't know what kind of jack that is. I guess that's a female. I'm not sure what that is. I better make sure that matches my suit. And also it has this 15 amp fuse. When I had the Pan American, I think I already said this in another video, I plugged in my suit into it, and that's what makes me wonder about this jack. I don't remember it looking like this. I might have a problem here. I plugged the suit into the Pan American and it blew the fuse. And so luckily for me, my friend had a fuse and I was able to get down the road. But I got to go get my suit and see if this works. I think I got a problem. Be back in a minute. Here's my Hotwire suit. Just about everybody in my chapter club uses Hotwire. It has 3 settings: yellow, green, and red. I forget, yellow's the lowest or green's the lowest. Red's the hottest, but you can adjust it. Just once you figure out where it is, you get used to it real quick. You press that and you can adjust the setting. The new ones, you have to do it on the phone. But the problem with that, if you have gloves on, like my phone here, it won't recognize gloves. So once you set it, if you set it too hot, you got to pull over. And if you're riding with a group of people, you can burn yourself, I guess. So I don't want that. If I have the gloves and the jacket, and I was going to get the pants. If I can't get the pants with the old style deal like this one, I'm not going to do it. I'll just wear long johns, and my legs don't get that cold. I can wrap them around them. I can wrap them around the motor, and they stay pretty warm. And also, if you go to Cycle Gear during the beginning of summer, you can get these on sale sometimes 20% off. And if you're a veteran, sometimes they'll add your veteran discount with the 20% off and get 30% off. So Harley can't match that. And right here inside the jacket, you got a little pouch pocket. You can put the wire in if you're not using it. Oh yeah, I don't think this is going to work. You can wear this and it's really warm just by itself. That's the other plug. It doesn't look like it's going to work. I'm wrong. It works. Male, female. It works. So now we're in business. We'll put it on. See how long this is? See how long that is? I don't need it that long. And a lot of people, they connect it to the battery and then they just coil it up and cram it under the seat. I don't do that. I'll cut it. I'm going to cut it and resolder it and then make it shorter, because I don't want all this extra wire under my seat. And these are cheap. It's like, okay, well, what if you take it off and put it on another bike? I don't do that. I just leave it on this bike if I trade it in, and that's that. And let the next guy, if he has Hotwire, which most people do, it seems like, he'll be able to plug in and be good to go. And so we'll do it. We're going to do that. What's all that? this kind of stuff here, I don't know about you, I just get a lighter and very carefully light it, let it melt off, and then you don't have a runny stitch or whatever, because that's the best way to handle that. All right, let's get to it. So the first thing you have to do is I have a luggage rack, and take the seat off. It's real easy to do. Take that off. Comes out. It slides underneath the seat. You got to pull it up like this. There's that one, and that, and this one. Pull up on it, pull it out. There's a tab right here on the tank that it fits, that slides in there. Most of y'all probably already know this of taking the seat off a Harley. So next thing, we have to pick up the engine control module, which is right here. So these are the tools you're going to need for this job. You're going to need a heat gun for the heat shrink. So you're going to need a ratchet with a 13 millimeter, a large Phillips screwdriver, clippers to cut the excess tie wrap, solder, wire strippers, a razor knife, a wire holder. If you have one, you don't need it, but I recommend it. You can get that at Amazon, I believe. A flashlight so you can see what you're doing down by the battery, and of course a soldering iron. And so those are the tools you will need. So what I have is a 13 millimeter. Take that bolt off. Wow, those are loose. Oh, those are real loose. Are you kidding me? Wow, they were hand tight. They weren't even tightened down. I think this came some kind of frozen dinner steam bowl or something like that. But anyway, I've collected a few of these when I have to eat quick meals, which not very often, but when I do, I save these because they work really good at keeping your bolts. I have a whole bunch of them, and so I just keep that somewhere and throw my bolts in there so they don't get lost, because that happens. I'll put it somewhere and I can't find it, or who knows. But so this way they all keep together. And the socket that I use, I put in there. And the socket I used for this, it's a 13 millimeter. And in it goes. So if I'm not mistaken, it pulls up. You have to disconnect this. I figured it out. I don't know if you can see this. There's you have to push down on this and then pull this out. That's one way. They have two little clips here. That's one way of pulling it out of there. Take that off. That one you press here. Let's see what it is. Oh man. That right there, there's a hook. You have to go down and under. So there's the battery. I'm going to go ahead and take this off of here. Man, it does not want to budge. It should come right off. There we go. See that connector? I like to take the ground off first. Put that in a bowl. Oh, don't touch any metal with this, or it will definitely let you know it. Now comes the fun part. They do go through there. Now everybody knows that red's positive and black is negative, so your positive is right there and your negative is right there, so that's pretty obvious. That's how it hooks up. But you can see how long it is. Look how long that is. We don't need that. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna feed it through this cover and just see how long I need it. I always put those black covers far behind me because I know it hasn't happened to me, but you put it behind you and the next thing you know, you step on it, you're buying another cover. I don't even know if y'all can see this. I have the camera turned around. I guess I'm gonna bring it over here and get a shot over this way. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a piece of this wire and run it over there to the negative end and then slip it out through here so I can get kind of a length, how far I want it, and then of course I'm going to add a few inches to it to give it a service loop. They call it a service loop. So it's going to come out of there, it's going to come over here, and it's going to come over here about right there. We'll bend it. Now we've got to go to the workbench. So here we are at the workbench. So what's important about this procedure is don't run off and just cut the wires. We know it's going to be about this long, and I'm going to give so much more from this end and the other end a service loop. You have to have something to work with a little bit because I'm going to have to tuck it in there and everything else. So I'm going to give it about this much right here. Here's the actual length. I'm going to give it about this much. But before I do that, I'm going to come in here. I got to split the wires anyway. Very carefully open this up. See if I can split it. And there's a reason for this. And the reason is I'm going to mark the hot wire with some blue tape because as you can see, there's no markings on this wire. It looks like one's a little bit fatter than the other, but I'm not going to place any bets on that. So you lay it down flat, you can follow it from the fuse. This one is the hot wire right here. That's the hot wire. Get some blue tape. Good enough for me right there. And then we lay it flat. We lay it flat, go like this. And we're going to want about that much of this one. So somewhere in here, pull it apart. And again, double check. You don't want to get this wrong, because remember, you're wearing this, and if it goes haywire, you're not going to like it. You don't want to be wearing a short. I know I don't. So you got to make sure. Like I said, that's probably why most people just coil it up and put it under the seat. But I'm too neat for that. I don't like that. I don't like all that extra wire crammed under the seat. So this is the hot wire right here. This is it right here. This one right here. And let's take some tape, put it over there, wrap it around. And now I know what's what. Double check. It's on the outside. It's right here on the outside, on the outside. On the outside, on the outside. That goes to the fuse. So we know we're right. Now we can cut it. And then strip the ends. And we'll strip the ends and then solder. Then I have a portable solder iron. This is made by Milwaukee. Takes this little battery, takes that, plugs in. This thing is great. The head rotates and it gets hot. And here's the on and off button. See? It's got a little light so you can see what you're doing. And it's already getting warm. And Milwaukee makes extra tips, different tips for different type of soldering. And that red light will stay on till that light goes off. The job light goes off, but this red light will stay on till it's cooled down. I made the mistake of grabbing this one time. I don't know why. I grabbed that thing and burnt my fingers so bad. So if that red light's on, do not touch it. But that's what we're going to be using to solder these wires together. Then I have some heat shrink. We're going to put that on there, and then use the heat shrink gun and cover up the wires. There's my measurement. I'm going to cut this wire. I think I'm going to cut it right about there. And then this one, I think I'm going to cut it just about there. That should be enough. Pull that apart. Okay, so we have this side, and you notice I have heat shrink down here, put on the wire, and two heat shrinks here. See them? Do not forget to do that, because this is going to go over. This heat shrink's going to go over the wire solder joint, and then this one's going to go over both of those. Double protection. See? And then we'll heat shrink it. But do not forget to put them on before you solder the wires, or you're going to have to take it back apart. Believe me, I've done that I don't know how many times, and I still do it. And I have to take it apart and redo it. And it's just a hassle, you know. But anyway, so there it is. And then this one here. And the reason I didn't solder them together on the bench is because it won't fit. I'd have to take this off and it won't fit. So I have a portable soldering iron, which I showed you. And this way I can just run the wire through here, put them together, solder them, and I don't have to take all this mess off. It's easier. So there's that wire. And this wire. Blue goes to blue. Don't forget that. Make sure you got that right. What I like to do, I've seen this on a YouTube video. I don't know if you can see this. I put them together. There's YouTube videos on how to splice wires together like this. I like to put them together like this, and then I twist it the opposite way, real tight. That's when this gizmo comes in, and I hold the wire with it. So this way it doesn't pull apart when I'm trying to solder it. They have other things you can buy. I've seen that on Facebook and YouTube. You stick the wire in there, you crush it and solder it. It doesn't work. I have them, they don't work. This seems to be the best way. Now when that green light stops flashing, it's ready to go. There you go. Put some solder on. Now for those of you that don't know how to solder, you put a little bit on there where you put the solder on the tip. The trick to soldering is you place the tip on the thing you want to solder and let it get hot and let it melt the solder. Then you know you've got a strong joint. If you don't do it that way, you get what they call a cold joint, and it's no good. It will come apart probably. So that's how you solder, for those of you who don't know. And you get the solder with flux inside of it. You can buy it you can get it on Amazon. That looks pretty good. I'll show you the joint. See? Nice and strong. It's not coming apart. Now we'll do the other one. Just kind of comb the wires out straight. Now this works on stranded wire. Solid wire is a little different story. It's not, it won't work. See how I push them together? And then I grab them with one finger and I turn one way and the other one the other way. And then put it in the, hold it, put it in the clamp. And it holds it there and it won't come apart. I tried doing this without this little tool. It pulls it apart. Really, underneath the bike. I don't know about y'all, but whenever you drop something, does it always try to roll under something you can't get to? Like the refrigerator or the toolbox? That happens to me every time I drop something. It runs. It's like it's got a mind of its own. It goes in the damnedest places you can't get it. You gotta get on your hands and knees, your stomach, and reach under there and grab it, and you know there's spiders in there, and I don't like spiders, so it's just part of this kind of stuff. What I'm doing is I'm putting solder, trying to get it hot. It takes a few minutes. See it filling up with solder? It's hot now. See it? I don't know if you can. I should have more light out here. Sorry about that. But you can look on YouTube and see soldering videos. But that's the trick to soldering. Get the thing you want. Get the thing you want to solder hot, and let it melt the solder. You'll get a good joint every single time, and it won't come apart. And these are shiny. A bad solder joint will have a dingy look to it. It won't be shiny like the solder. And that's a cold joint, and that you don't want. What I have here is a battery operated Milwaukee heat gun. I like batteries just for this reason. I've had plug-in ones. Of course, you have to get an extension cord out and drag it over here and everything. Battery operated ones work so good. Now that that's done, undo these. Take that out of there. You got to kind of guess it, center it. This heat gun works so good. I really like it. Look at that. Can you all see those heat shrinks? Real good. Then, now you can pull the blue tape off. You don't need that anymore. Now I've got this other piece. It's going to go over the top of those. It usually fits. I made a mistake. There it goes. Going now. See, now I put that piece over the top of those, double protection. And I'm going to heat shrink it. You got to kind of feel where the end of the wire is. Now heat shrink it, and we're good to go. Then I'll just connect it to the battery and see if the suit works before I tie wrap it down. If it doesn't work, I'll have to get a new one and start over, but I'm sure it will. And I'll have to make a new video. There we go. And there it is on the bike. Now I just connect these to the battery. It might have been just a little bit too much wire. It'll be fine. I just don't want all that. You can see how crowded it is in here. And so you have all this coiled up wire, and I'm going to be putting some lights back here. They're Pro Beam lights, and that's got stuff that's going in here. So, yeah, I don't want to make it where I can't get my seat down because I got a bunch of crap in there or stuff in there. So now I'm going to put this on the battery, and I'm going to test it and see if it works. I like to put the positive in first, then the ground. That might not be right though. I don't know. Make sure you get that wire underneath this thing. Make sure it goes underneath. You don't want it on top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the fuse down there and behind this battery deal. So it's out of the way, it's not sticking up. After I make sure the suit works. Now we'll plug the suit in. The moment of truth. Here it is. Take the cap off. Aha, look. There's hot. That's the middle. And that's the coolest. Isn't that cool? Look at that. And we got a rally ride going out tomorrow. It's going to be chilly. Guess what I'm wearing? And you sit right here, and this is long enough. One thing when you have these on, for those of you that are about to get one, if you want to turn it off, just hold it down. And it sticks out right by your belt, so you can grab it while you're riding. You got to kind of feel around, but you can get it. And when you turn it on, you can't really see what it's on, but you can feel it. So you just, you turn it on, and that's too hot. Then you just click it, and then it gets cooler. And then that's just right. And then it's like, okay, well, it's getting warm enough now. I don't even need it on. You just hold it, and it'll turn off, and you'll feel it. So it works. That was easy. For those of you that have never used a Hotwire, do not leave it on when the bike's not running. It will drain the battery pretty quick. And also remember to disconnect yourself, or when you pull it, you might pull these wires and stuff, and I don't think you're gonna pull them apart, but we did a pretty good soldering job, but still, just remember you're connected to the bike and undo it before you walk away. I'm sure, like me, you're gonna make that mistake a couple times, and then you'll remember. So there it is. I'm ready to go. I'm gonna stay warm. So now what I'm gonna do is clean it up a little bit. There's my tender, and this is the suit. I want this. I want that thing on the top. I don't want it behind it. So now that I have it where I want it, let's get a tie wrap. There's a bunch of wires. Right there. Wiring harness of some sort. Now I gotta get your finger in there and pull it out. Now it's working right. Put this right here and this over here like that. I might tie wrap these together right here just so. Let's get that. Let's get the side cover. Let's see if the side cover is. Here's the side cover. Okay, here's the finished product. There's the battery tender right there, and there's the heated suit. And what I did, I'll move this out of the way. This computer, you can see. I don't know if you can see it. See right down in there is where I put the fuse. It's right there. Pushed it down in there, and that's a good place for it. And then I'm gonna put it back together, and it's done. And I'm gonna test it out tomorrow. I'm gonna be riding. There we go. So that's it for this video. I hope it helps any of y'all getting ready to hook up a Hotwire system on your bike. This is relatively easy. Ride safe.